There we go. Let's have a look. It's funny that I've got to select myself to watch myself. Okay, let's go. So we're at 8 o'clock by my clock, the only clock that matters. Daniel Roberts, good evening. Devon Fishing, hey, whoop whoop. Will Bailey, Will Bailey, yeah. So Devon Fishing, I need to catch up on that. I haven't watched any of those recently. Andrew England, Will Bailey, Jamie Wills, good evening, buddy. What have we got? Marcus Hitchcock, hopes all's well. Yeah, except my drastic fishing last night didn't go that well. Morgan Davies, hardcore fisherman. Ain't nice to see you on here. The weather is not so good over here, but what can you do? Yeah, weather's been dire, isn't it? I don't want to turn into a weather channel, but seriously, the weather has been abysmal. John Humphreys, good evening, buddy. Earl's Fishing, shameless plug. So I caught up and I was having a look through all my bits and pieces earlier on. Earl's off tope fishing tomorrow. I'm excited to see how that turns out. I haven't caught a tope this year. So Earl, seriously, you need to give us a bit of an insight as to what you're up to, where you're going, how you're doing it, and put it all on camera, mate. Look forward to seeing it. Stuart Crane, good evening, buddy. Haven't seen you for a while, mate. Mally Sea Angler, hello, mate. Yeah, no, good. I'm all good. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it. John Humphreys. Yeah, Earl. I'm super excited. I want to see you catch a tope, mate. I want to see you catch a tope on film. Martin Browning, Eddie Dowdle. I nearly said that wrong then. I don't know what I thought I was reading there. Yeah, Eddie Dowdle. Devon Fishing, good evening. Trev Ralph. Okay, so we just give people a chance to log in, because obviously a lot of people just want to do the draw and disappear. I'm not going to drag it out, because I'd be the same. I'd want to see the draw, and then if anyone's got any questions, if you want to think of some questions for after the draw, I'll give it 5 or 6 minutes to let everyone log in and get themselves in, and then we'll do the whole computer generated draw thing, and then we'll switch over to questions and stuff afterwards. If everyone's agreeing with that and everyone likes that, I think that's the way to go. Andy Cole, Stephen Harper. Yeah, guys, seriously, thanks for asking. I'm really well. I injured myself. I'm just killing time while we wait for everyone to log in. I thought I'd done my back in, and it was probably a result of all that heavy fishing malarkey. No, I've done my core. I've pulled a muscle in my stomach, and it's nothing to do with that. I bought a chest freezer for the workshop, the man cave, the workshop, and like an idiot, I tried to pick it up on my own. Thought I was strong. I'm too old. I'm not, and I've hurt my stomach, and it's sore. Skippy Kung Fu, don't forget size 11. Never forget that, mate. Who's got size 11 feet? Are you putting flippers on and then waders? Or is that just your feet that are going in that are size 11? Alan, you're managing to watch live. There's a first. And you're on time. Yay! Yeah, get watching Earl's fishing adventures. Definitely. Not right now. Afterwards. Before. Later. Tomorrow. Tonight. Not right now. But definitely get over and watch Earl. Especially when he puts his tope video up. No pressure. No pressure at all. The work was no point, mate. Yes, so it's got to be fairly. It'll be huss and hound fishing, mate. But you never know what the skipper will do. You need to tell the skipper. Or no, that's not quite right, because that sounds strong, doesn't it? You need to. If you're paying, then surely you get some say in what you're doing. But the skipper should have the knowledge, shouldn't he? And he'll guide you in the right direction. North East Fisherman, good evening, buddy. Michael Venables. Related to Terry? Daft question, I know. But no, yeah, I'm all good, mate. If you're enjoying the videos, seriously, that makes me really happy. If you like watching the videos, it makes it worthwhile, doesn't it? Is my camera a little bit skew whiff there? Or is that just a trick of the... It didn't want to adjust, did it? Okay. I forgot to ask. I'm guessing you can hear me, okay? Morgan Davies got size 13 feet. The scale stops at 11, mate. You're 11 plus 2. There's no such thing as a 13, is there? Or do you mean little size 13? Is that like junior size 13 or adult size 13? I don't know. Rick Tarrant likes watching the channel. Makes it worthwhile. It'd be pointless if you didn't. But no, appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Hardcore fishing. First time fishing the beach since this virus. Short notice coming soon. Between me and myself, there was plenty of wet weed. Right. Weed is... So the Solent, South Coast, Solent area between, you know, like Southampton, Portsmouth and the Isle of Wight, it's like a weed trap. So the weed congregates and the tide sort of flushes it out but pushes it back in again. It doesn't get a full flush through just yet. Weed is a nightmare. And the amount of rain we've had, fresh water, weed, and then the weed depletes the oxygen close into the shore, so the fish stay deep. And of course they're out of the reach of the shore angler. There are places you can fish and you'll still catch some fish, but the fishing aspects have definitely changed over the last 2 weeks. I went somewhere different last night. There was no weed and it looked really lively right at the start, and it just completely went dead. When I say completely went dead, I had 2 tings, 2 poutings. Can't avoid the tings. But Colin had 5 straps. 5 strap eels. He was fishing 20 yards away from me. I didn't have one, and he had 5. And you don't really want to be catching multiple straps. They trash your rigs, steal your bait, and if they're on it, the other fish can't get on it. Mrs. Maidens about bait in the freezer. Was thinking about getting a smaller one of my own to put in the shed. Top tip: you cannot put every freezer outside in a shed or garage. They have specific ratings on them of whether they can go outside or not. And the reason being, in the winter, if it gets too cold and the refrigeration unit's not configured correctly for where it's sensing and what it's doing, it will think it's too cold and switch off. It'll be cold outside and your bait will slowly defrost inside to the point where it's trashed. So you have to be careful what freezers you put in a outside. If you go on some of the websites that deal with things like that, so say like I don't know, AO, Curry's, Dixon, any of those big suppliers, they actually state whether a freezer is suitable for going outside or not. Top tip that. You don't want to put all your bait in a honking great chest freezer and it go into shutdown and trash all your bait. But yeah, I've managed to get a proper chest freezer now for bait. Mrs. W can have the lower portion of the fridge that's in the garage back for a bread and milk and all that nothing trivia. Stuart Harris, good evening, buddy. Haven't seen you for a while. Jamie Wills, Ian Timms, first time watching you live. Awesome. It's not that exciting, is it? It's just me gibbering away. It's like a one-way conversation as well, because I've got to try and read and discuss things. But yeah, Skippy's really keen, isn't he? He's punched in another vase just in case. It doesn't work, mate. It depends on what I put in the confuser as to what it can pick, and it won't pick from the live comment section. Loads of weed at Worthing and Shoreham. I don't doubt it. If I had a decent session last night, 14 smoothie. Right, cracking. So Jamie had a decent session last night, 14 smoothies and a nice bass. That would have been worth filming, wouldn't it? You can actually buy garage freezers made for smashed and garages. I didn't quite get that one, Stephen Harper. But yeah, you can buy freezers that are specifically for going outdoors or are capable of going outdoors. This make me laugh even as I'm reading it because I know exactly where this is going. Robert Senior left a pint of maggots in the fridge years ago. Everywhere inside the fridge. And yeah, you would end up single. That's a good way of doing it. That will work every time. Raymond Garrett, good evening, buddy. Right, guys, by all means, start punching away on your questions and anything that you'd like to discuss. But I'm going to start doing my finger tapping around and get the details up for the competition draw, because I know some people just want to do the competition draw and then probably go away. and then we can talk to our heart's content about anything and everything. So I am going to concentrate while I do this. So I'm going to refresh the search. I'm using Comment Picker if anyone's interested. It's a proper online thing. I've got no input into what happens here now. I put the keyword and the link of the competition. Press a button, I'll show you the screen, and this will generate a winner. So refresh it, he says. Right. And as sure as eggs is eggs, it's having a little funny 5 minutes and it's not playing. So just bear with me because I'll just refresh it. It is having a funny 5 minutes as well. Always the way, innit? So YouTube random comment picker. It's because it's trying to give me advertisement, and because I've blanked the advertisement, it doesn't like it. So it sort of spits its dummy out a little bit sometimes because it wants to give you advertising. Paste the comment. Fill the comments. VAS, V-A-S-S, that confused some people because people spell check tried to change it to BAS or VASes for some reason. See how many people we've got? Okay. I'm not happy with that because I know there's more than 38 people. You just have to bear with me for a second, guys, because it is giving me a little bit of jip. It's not spectator sport, is it? Watching someone struggle. And struggle it is making me at the moment because it's just trying to give me loads of advertisement at the moment. It's a free online thing, so the way they make their revenue is by... Here we go. Duplicate users, comments on that, this, that and the other. Add extra, exclude blacklist, get YouTube comments. It is really fighting me, really fighting me. Let me do it all completely from scratch. You can't pre-do this either because it times out. It times out and then it makes you work for it. So let's go again. You have to go through all the advertisements again. I'm sorry it's taking a little bit. You can see from the previous competitions it doesn't usually take this long. Let's get it. There we go. This is it. Right. So after all of that and all that shenanigans, it was fighting me. We have got the competition details put in, single entry, so it will filter out your duplicate entries. It's based on specific text in the comments, which is VAS, V-A-S-S, and there are 108 unique entries. So that means you've got a 1 in 108 chance of winning. So we will bring the screen up so that you can see it. Okay, so just to show you guys, that's all the details I've input. Generate, it's flying out loads of different people's names. I don't know who's come in. And it is, the winner is the Northeast Fisherman. So the winner of the VAS competition giveaway is the Northeast Fisherman. I will take a screenshot. So that we know. And what I'm going to do now is draw one more name, just in case there's any issues. They don't contact me. That for whatever reason I cannot, because this competition prize will go to someone. So I will pick another winner as a second, but the Northeast Fisherman has won. It's a little bit cruel because this person will think, oh, I would have won. And that is quite funny because the second is the Eastbourne fisherman. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. So you can, this just goes to prove that I don't make this stuff up. You couldn't make that up if you tried. So the Northeast Fisherman, he's the winner of this month's competition and a pair of Vass 700 series waders. Chuffed to bits for you, buddy. If you contact me here, if you'd like, Facebook, Instagram, you can email at markwilliamsseaangling@gmail.com if you'd like to contact me that way. Make contact with any way you want. I'll get the details of your sizing and your address. I will order them online and I'll have them delivered direct to your door. This is one of the prizes I would love to have won myself. So I'm a little bit envious, to be honest. Right, so here we go. Let's get the discussion back up because I've lost track now. Yeah, Northeast Fisherman. Congratulations, buddy. If you want to contact me any way you see fit, we'll get your size, get your address, and I'll get them delivered to you. So yeah, we get the usual bits and pieces now where everyone says congratulations, which is absolutely amazing. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so I haven't seen them come up yet, but that's not unusual. You know, not everyone can make the time. And I'm just looking now for any. I'm just going to filter through now to see if we've got some questions. So that's the draw is now complete. We've got our dedicated winner and a second in case anything goes wrong. But yeah, congratulations. Chuffed to bits for you. Amazing prize. So Skippy Kung Fu. Sorry, buddy, you didn't win your chest waders. When you're fishing again, I went fishing last night with the Century Fireblades to a new mark for me at Swanage. Because of the wind and the weed, there was no weed and there was no wind at Swanage. But the fishing was pretty dire. I caught 2 little tings and Colin next to me caught 5 strap conger. Where am I going next? The big plan. So I've sorted out all my major tackle aspects now. The big one is the plan for September, mid-September, to Scotland to catch a common skate from the shore, which if you've watched the common skate from a boat video, it's that times 5. It is a different aspect altogether. But that's going to be probably the September shore video will probably be released over the Christmas period as a special, as a 1 hour special. Because I've already done a skate one recently from the boat, it'll be a bit much to have the 2 so close together. So I might back pocket that and save it for Christmas viewing when you're all on holiday. But that same setup that we've worked to get together now with the Ron Thompson accelerators and the Daiwa BGs, they're going to be for rock fishing, for large conger, bull huss, everything, you know, big rays. I'm going to chase the rays going to chase that rays really hard in the coming season. We're going to go up to the northeast for some cod fishing. We're going to go to the Bristol Channel. We're going to go Chesil. So Chesil's going to start as soon as the encampments are moved on and summer is finished at Chesil. I'm not fighting my way through encampments of people on the beach. We'll wait till the weather pushes them off and they decide that they don't want to stay anymore, and we'll do the extra distance for things like the Dragon's Teeth and the cottages and all that kind of stuff. But Chesil's going to get some regular visits, and so's the Bristol Channel. So we've got some exciting stuff coming up, and we've got different gear. So we've done 1 full season on the K2s and Surf Blasters. They're going into retirement. And they're being replaced with 2 focused elements of fishing, 2 pairs of rods. We've got the Fireblades for south coast fishing, generic shore fishing, and we've got the Ron Thompson, getting confused now, the accelerators, rigged for big, and they're going to be doing rock marks, whales, some of the more snaggy sort of areas, and by that I mean fishing snaggy before you all start. More snacky areas, and Scotland as well. So we got things like spur dogs, large thornbacks, common skate, all those kind of stuff to do up in Scotland. And then we've got things like, I want to catch some large conger. I want to go for as many different species as ray as possible. And we're going to chase the cod a little bit, because that seems to be the UK's favourite fishing hobby, chasing cod. There's a Facebook report of cod over here. Everyone goes over here. There's a Facebook report of cod over there. Everyone goes over there. Everyone chases the cod everywhere, don't they? So Scott Harris, glad you could join us, bud. You didn't win the waders, mate. But we're all good. Thanks for asking. Let's have a look. Chris Kozlowski, good evening, buddy. A table. I'm guessing you're still talking freezer. Is that for $99.99? Argos. Yeah. Let's have a look. Northeast Fisherman, plenty of congratulations. Yeah, good stuff. Anyone got any questions? Anyone got any real deep, thoughtful, meaningful questions they've got for us? Let's have a look. Let's have a flick through. Just, Alan, you're a bit late. Timekeeping, buddy. You know, 5 minutes early, sit and wait. Like that. Be there on time. Let's have a quick look. All the congratulations. I'm trying to filter my way through the congratulations. Northeast Fisherman, massive thank you, Matt, and everyone else. I'll give you a message over Facebook. Yes, buddy. Just need your size and contact details, postal address, and I'll get them in. I'll get them ordered. They'll come from Veals, Jerry's, Angling Direct. I'll search out the best price ones that I can for my own benefit, but they will be exactly as described. Sorry, I had to pop off for a sec. Quick rush trip to the loo. From Earl. My water has been turned off. Who's turning your water? Is someone out in your front garden isolating your stopcock? Rob Cut, anyone know what Dungy, I'm guessing Dungeness, is throwing up, please, as you're off tomorrow? I would like to. It's one of those pilgrimage things, isn't it? I've never fished Dungeness before, so I fully intend to at some point. I've got so many things listed and so many things that we're going to do, but yeah, I'd like to visit Dungeness. I'd like to go. I'd like to speak to someone that has local information before I make that sort of journey, possibly even meet and guide, or even just meet and fish, but I'd like to visit Dungeness. Mark Dunnett, how are you getting on with fire blades? You have one on order. Yeah, so careful where you order them from, buddy. Not casting any dispersions, but when I ordered, the online order said they were available, and then it took 6 weeks. I waited 6 weeks. I was to the point where I was just going to cancel it out of principle at one point. But then I thought, I've waited 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it was at the time. I might as well see it out and see how it goes. But yeah, I was sorely tempted, because I wasn't too keen on the fact that until I actually phoned them up and questioned why they were showing stock, literally as I was on the phone to them, the computer refreshed and they said 6 week wait time. But they weren't going to put that down while everyone else was booking, and you've parted with your money. So your money is in their account. This isn't Century, by the way. This was a angling dealer. So yeah, I don't know how long you've been told you're going to wait for yours, but if they're a fresh order, they're struggling to keep up. They've been very, very popular. How am I finding them? I think they're a fantastic rod for the money. You certainly see the money is invested in the blank. The finish is lovely. It's like a satin finish, and I just love everything about them. 2-piece rod, and you feel the rod return the energy you put into it. So I haven't really had that before. I've had the cheaper end of rods. I've had older rods that are a little bit tired, that have been higher end but tired. And these you can feel. I'm not an expert caster at all. I'm quite clumsy, to be honest. I'd love to have some lessons if anyone's watching can help me out there. I'd love to learn, you know, to fine tune technique. I know the principles, but I'm not very good at it. You can feel as you put the weight, it actually fires it back through in the cast, and that is quite addictive, because it encourages you to try more and more, to put more into the rod, because you see the results what come out. So yeah, I think they've got a lot of potential in the right hands of, you know, some of you guys that are more proficient with casting. That they must be amazing. they must be absolutely amazing. They sit really nice in the tide and the weather as well. Not oversensitive, but sensitive enough. I know that sounds like a wishy-washy compromise, but they've probably designed them like that. So yeah, early indications are I really like them. Scotland mushroom foraging and fishing. That's a mouthful, isn't it? SMFF. We're going to have to shorten that down to something. Scott Mush or something. I don't know. Yeah, good evening, buddy. Thanks for joining us. It's nice to see you have joined us in here. Skippy Kung Fu next time. Absolutely, buddy. That's the mentality. 108 people entered. 108 competitions. You're in with a shout. Jamie Wills, North Wales, give me a shout. More importantly, Jamie, seriously, and I'm not saying this to be ignorant or mean it with any disrespect. Fire me a message, please, buddy. Just make contact with me, a message or an email or Facebook or Instagram, because I struggle to keep track of this. I get hit with so many messages. I save all the ones that need following up. I make a point of trying to answer every single one, but you can imagine I get a lot of them. So yeah, I'd really appreciate some guidance, some help, and possibly even meeting up for North Wales. If you can help me out with that, that'd be amazing. Throw us a message, mate, please, and then I'll respond. Always fish with a spinning reel. Would really like to try and multiply it. Which one would you suggest as a first multiplier reel? That is a deep question. So I would instantly, not because I've gone for them, I would go for one of the high magged reels, because the mags give you control. There's some basic principles. You can't just cast it and forget about it, because you're going to overspool. You have to thumb the spool, I think is the correct term. But the mags slow the speed down. And I don't want to go too deep here because I'm on shaky ground. I'm no expert with this. But with the variable magnetic multipliers, you can start high mag, and as your skill progresses, you can come down in clicks. I've worked my way down 3 clicks, 3 out of 15 or 20. I don't know how many clicks there are on the reel, but I'm comfortable off full mag by 3. So what would I suggest? Probably one of the Pen mag reels, and I wouldn't buy a brand new one. In fact, that's probably not good advice. I think personally, you're better off, if you're unexperienced, if you've no experience, buying a brand new one, because then it will come ready to go out the box, and it hasn't been used, abused, broken, maladjusted, whatever else could possibly go wrong. I'd buy a brand new one, and possibly one of the Pens. And then which one depends on your line loading, what you're going to use it for, and all that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't be scared of them. And if you're going to try it for the first time, try it in daylight. Don't go at night. Anyone that's watching this that uses a multiplier understands why I'm saying that. It's right, my thing's just timed out, so I just need to see what else we've been asked. Yeah, fire blades. I know there's going to be a lot of interest in the fire blades, and I was filming a workshop ramblings today. I ran out of time eventually, but I've been going through the accelerators, the fire blades, the Daiwas, and the Mag 3s in my latest workshop rambling that I'm working on at the moment. So we'll get that out fairly soon. Try to rock marks the west side of Portland for some big Congo. Bloke to work with had, I think, a 60-pounder from the shore. So Alan, yeah, so fishing Chesil and fishing the Portland End, I see them as 2 different venues. So Portland End, quite famous for the fact that there can be blonde rays there, or there are blonde rays there all the time. It's just whether or not you can reach them. They're quite far out, and obviously quite well renowned for the conger down there. So I would treat those as 2 different fishing venues, and I'm going to try and visit them as much as I can through the autumn winter season. I just need the summer what's the right, the summer clutter to clear off the beach. It's probably the most diplomatic way of saying it. What's my favourite ray bait and rig? Depends on the ray. Squid only for undulate. double sand eel for spotted and small eye, mackerel, squid, or just bluey for thornback, and a whole mackerel with a whole octopus worn like a muppet for skate. What's my favourite rig? A running ledger, and to cast a running ledger I use an up and over. So the up and over rig is a full running ledger, but the trace, because it would just flop around and tangle up, goes up and over, clips down, clips at the bottom. Trident hangover clip, definite firm favourite for me on those now. I am definitely a convert on those. I think my up and overs will always have a Trident hangover now. I really like those. Yeah, an up and over rig, which is a full running ledger, 2 to 3 foot hook snood, just so that the ray doesn't come and settle on your grip lead. Because if he comes down and he touches a grip lead, touches those wires, he's going to be spooked and off he's going to go. So you need a little bit of distance between your hook point and your grip lead, minimum of about 18 inches. I think 18 inches to 3 feet, depending on where you're fishing. But yeah, bait specific for the ray you're fishing for. And you know, whole balled 7 or 8 ragworm for stingray, mackerel or bluey for thornback, squid only for ungulate, and there will be everyone that will say I've caught one on something else. But if you went along those lines when you target them for rays, I don't think you're going to go far wrong. Bit of a long response, that one. Favourite ray baiting rig? Daniel Roberts. Hope that answers the question, if that helps you out, buddy. When I say an up and over rig, I've caught rays on pulley rigs. So it's not only, but if you ask me my favourite, up and over, and then those baits specific for the rays that I've mentioned. So Steve Newell, thinking of getting a spinning rod for bass fishing without spending a fortune. Any recommendations? My buddy Stuart Crane let me have a couple of casts on his new spinning rod recently. I say recently, I think it was about a month ago. So if Stuart, if you're still logged in, still looking, can you put a comment up as to the recommendation? Because that rod that you've got is absolutely amazing. So I will capitulate to what information Stuart can give you, because he's found a particularly really nice spinning rod. It is a cracker. I've got a small lure rod, which is an Abu Black something, I think. It comes as a reel and rod combo. Fairly simple, fairly cheap, about 70–80 pounds. But that's not a patch on the one that Stuart showed me. He had a really, really nice spinning rod. So Mark Dannett, it's actually coming right. So what am I looking at? I've lost track there a little bit, sorry. Answering questions and lost my school of thought. Oh, Fireblades, yeah. So yours is coming direct from Century. I emailed Century just to get the truth of the story, because I was being told one thing. Century told me the truth and were very honest and open exactly about their availability and when they were going to be available. It was the dealer that was doing a bit of smoke and mirrors. He had my money and he didn't want to refund it, I think was the be all and end all of that. Yeah, so Mark Dannett, if it's coming direct from Century, I think you're golden, to be honest, because I've had nothing but good interactions with Century. Very honest and helpful. Had to wait 10 weeks for yours. I suppose if we're ordering things that are very specific, as long as we're told up front, you don't mind. It's when you're told that it's available and then you wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks and no updates. That really gets my goat. Stephen Cooper, every session he's had lately has been ruined by lots of weed. Is it like this every year? Yeah, it is. It's this time of year. I thought it was called Mayrot. Mayrot something else. That stuff stinks. It's horrible. It's the cycle. It is the cycle. So we have to, you can't fight nature. You've got to work with it. And I know that sounds really flippant as well, but that's the truth of it, isn't it? I get frustrated when I've waited all week, the weather's been really nice, pack all my van up, go fishing, and the weather's blowing a hoolie and the sea's unfishable. And then on the next day when I can't go fishing, it's all calm again. You can't odds that, can you? That's the way of the world. And weed, I'm sorry, but is an absolute part of it. Jamie Wills, yeah, thank you very much for the response, mate. Scott Harris can't go wrong with a 525. I think it's quite a firm favourite with a lot of people. I won't lie in saying it swayed my thoughts of where I was going to go, because I knew people would be interested. Same with the Fireblades. I was interested to try them. I was interested to have them, but I also knew that it would be good to relay the information because I knew people would be interested. That doesn't drive everything I do, as you know. You know, I do my own thing. I don't profess to follow anyone, to be honest. But it did cloud my decision a little bit. The Fireblades and the 525s I knew would be a popular choice, and I was keen to try it out. I wanted to know what all the fuss was about. Seagull, fish and tackle, Romney Marsh for bait and info around dungeon. Okay, yeah, seagull, fish and tackle. I'll certainly check those out. Will Bailey, I know you're sea angling, but do you ever do any other types of fishing? I've done all sorts. So yeah, river fishing, lake fishing, fly fishing, deep sea foreign. You know, I've travelled the world and done other stuff. I think I've probably covered most disciplines. I haven't tried the modern carp sink, the 3 rods, the camping for a week, the boilies, that whole scenario of fishing. I haven't done that, but I've certainly done. I think I've covered every other base. I think personally, us as sea anglers can learn a lot from the carp boys because they are so particular with the detail of everything they do, and the detail of what they do has an effect. I think we can learn lots from them. I won't tell them openly, and if they're watching they need to turn away and put their fingers in their ears at the moment, but yeah, I think we can learn a lot from the carp boys. But do I do any other types of fishing? Yeah, I do. I have done, but I don't know what it is about shore angling. I like the change in venues. I cover a lot of venues. Travelled last night, be travelling again next week. There's something about fishing ashore, whether it's calm, whether there's rolling surf, whether it's daytime, nighttime, I don't know. It's quite magical, I think. We're very lucky to be on an island. You think there are people that live on continents that never see the sea, never see the shoreline. I think we're very blessed. Billy fishing. What are you fishing for with the BGs? Right, so they weren't my first choice. So the Daiwa BGs, and I think that stands for black gold. The reels are black and gold. The Daiwa was recommended to me, but my first choice was Penn Spin Fisher. I think, is it lever line or line lever with the drag settings on the back of the reel, because they had 40-pound drag. I couldn't get hold of a pair of those, and I was starting to run out of time when I needed to prep my kit and at least iron out the bugs before the September trip up to Scotland. I know it seems a long way away, but you count down everything else in between and the opportunities I've got, I was running out of time. So I bought the Daiwa BGs. They were my second choice. They've got a 33-pound drag. What do you need at a 33-pound drag? Right. If you hook into a 200-pound skate in deep water, you have to lift its nose for the skate to break suction on the seabed, or it will just sit there. And when I say sit there, 6 hours. It will just sit there. It won't go anywhere. It will just suck itself to the bottom and it won't move. It won't like the fact it's got a hook in it, and it will just be really stubborn. You've got to lift its nose. And you lift its nose by holding a bend in a rod. Try bending an RT accelerator. They take a lot of bending. Just to lift its nose. Eventually it will tire, and when it breaks suction, you've got a chance of bringing it in. Now from a boat, that is a vertical lift. And in that vertical lift of 400 or 500 feet, it will turn once or twice and go for the bottom again. If you get it most of the way up and it hasn't gone, it will at some point. So you might as well let it fight itself out. When you do it from shore, you're not lifting it straight up. You're lifting it diagonally towards the shore and up over a deep ledge. Every time you move it, it will suck to the bottom again. Move it, suck to the bottom. It may take 2 to 6 hours from the shore to bring one. You may get lucky, 20 minutes, get it moving and get it straight in. not a problem. Or it may take hours, and you may break kit, reels, rods, rigs, anything. It will find the weak point of anything you've got. The BGs, they were my second choice, unfortunately, but they are still a very, very heavy duty big fish reel, and that's what I bought them for. I'm just catching up to see where I've missed, because obviously I've been jibber jabbering along. Favourite ray bait, we've done that one. Have I been fishing to Berry Head? I haven't. And why is that familiar to me? Berry Head, Berry Head, Berry Head. I think it's one of the ones we've been talking about. We've been talking about loads, so I can't remember which ones we've discounted, which ones we're going to do. Berry Head, I've got a funny feeling that's one of the ones we are going to visit in this year, in the run up to Christmas. Let's have a look. I know, right, so we've done that one. Oh, I'm nearly caught up now. Right, so hardcore fishermen, Pen 525s and Abu multipliers. Abus were the standard, weren't they, for many, many years. I think Pen has taken quite a large market share now. And rightly or wrongly, I'm just going to have a quick drink. Rightly or wrongly, I think it's because they've tuned into exactly what people want. I'm not a Pen salesman. I've got no links or ties to Pen. I just firmly believe that Pen are good at listening to the angler and responding and changing. If you look at anything they've done in the last few years, it's been in direct response to feedback from fishermen, not the engineers designing the reel to what they think we should have. Pen seems to, and this is my viewpoint, I may be off mark here, but Pen seem to listen well and then incorporate. And if it doesn't work, they're not averse to then letting that drop to one side and then going again. If you look at their product range and how it's changed, I just think they're very good at listening, which is quite refreshing actually. At Pagham, so Andy Coles caught a spotted ray on a 2-hook clip down. Absolutely. What can we say? I think I was hooked into a common skate on a set of Hawkeye feathers. I was fishing for mackerel and stuff for fresh bait, and a skate decided to take my Hawkeye feathers and then snap the line. That's in that film. There's always going to be an exception to every rule. But spotted rays, they're beautiful looking creatures, they are. Amazing. Phil Fishers, can I get a shout out and did I miss the draw? We've had your shout out and you've missed the draw. Northeast Fisherman won the Chestnut Waders this month, buddy. When targeting big huss, what's the best rig and baits? For big huss, I would say the first thing you need is a wire snood. A wire snood and a decent sized hook for a big huss. And I'll leave that open now for anyone else to respond, throw in, because I've not caught a huss on camera and shown you guys, so I'm not going to even discuss it, because until I've done that, I can't really comment, can I? But we're going to go for huss. It's on my list of species to catch. And just to keep Phil really happy, here's his second shout. Phil fishes. Not now, but at a time that's convenient. Check Phil out, because I'm going to afterwards. I'll have a look. Yeah, big huss. Please, anyone else that's been catching big huss, comment away. Andy Dannett, good evening, buddy. PB carp, £25. That's significant. My buddy Stu Harris, gonna give him a shameless plug now. The Sweet Corn Kid, he knocks out some cracking carp videos, all the arty stuff, and he catches some monsters. He catches huge, great big, and he's chucking, like, he's pond dipping. You know, he's just plopping his bait in a pond, and he's pulling out. Not in the ocean, not in the sea. He's not putting big fishes on big hooks. He's putting little, like, I think he uses polos or something. I don't know what he uses, but he catches these big fish. Check out the Sweet Corn Kid. He's worth a watch, definitely. Um, Billy Fishing, is it the 8,000? Yes, it is, mate. So the BGs are the 8,000. I didn't go for the 10.5. The 10.5 just that would have looked like a winch on an accelerator. You know, the size of a 10.5. But yeah, it is an 8,000. Oh, right. Stephen Harper, can you recommend a fixed ball reel for beach fishing using braid? Any 8,000 series reel that's designed for surf casting. And then my own personal preference, and what I've used pretty much all this season, is a Penn Surf Blaster. I know it sounds like I'm a Penn salesman. They're in my price range. Okay, so a Penn Surf Blaster, 75, 80 pounds. You can put braid on it. I tried through this season, just for my own personal interest, started in mono, £18 mono, with an 18 to 70 pound shock leader. Then we went to 30 something pound braid with a shock leader, and then I finished off the season with £87 braid, no shock leader. And what did I find? What? First and foremost, Penn Surf Blasters are a really tough, simple, basic reel that work well beach fishing. They do work well. They will complement a long rod. So if you've got a 15-foot rod, put one of those reels on, a casting cannon, and go for it. There's very little to get wrong. Works really well at night and in really rough conditions because there's fewer complications. Mono, braid and shock leader, or just braid. The just braid was the easiest, but the line collects weed when the weed's bad. The mono gave the best distance, picked up the least amount of weed, but the bites are dulled. So you get a duller bite indication compared to braid straight through. There's two aspects to that. The mono with the dulled bite gives you positive bite indication and sort of filters out a lot of the noise, shall we say, you know, the little tappy tap taps. The braid shows everything, and you've got to learn to sit on your hands. Everything looks like it's going to take the rod off the stand. It goes nuts. But some of that is just knocks. It's not full on bites. So you still have to let bites develop. If I was to make a recommendation, it would be in the middle. It would be £30 something braid, very fine diameter, something like Barkley Whiplash, still with the shock leader to smooth out the cast and to dampen the bite indication with that little bit of flex. So it's quite, there's so many variations. It's personal preference for everyone. There'll be a third of the people watching this now and go, oh no, mono all the way, I wouldn't put braid on. There are some people that go, oh, I can't deal with all that shock leader and knots going through the eyes, braid only, straight through. And there'll be people down the middle. So it's a personal preference. But a recommend for a reel, a Penn Surf Blaster 8002. I think we're on the second incarnation now. Cracking reel for the money. Really good reel for the money. Skippy Kung Fu, still here. No more prizes, buddy. Prize is gone. You know I'm only pulling your leg. Yeah, running leisure, 10.0. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'd go. 10.0 wire bite trace. So it doesn't have to be a long wire trace. It just has to be enough that its sharp gnashes doesn't cut through. But yeah, running ledger. And if you're struggling to cast a running ledger, an up and over full running ledger. Best of both worlds. Would you wholeheartedly recommend the casting cannon? If your finger has to come into contact with braid and you're casting a 6 ounce or above weight, definitely. Why put your finger in danger? You can use a finger stall, don't get me wrong, but people like that. But the casting cannon, 1 turn for lighter, 2 turns for heavier. If you watch some of the South African boys and the way that they fish from the shore for big bronze sharks, none of those cast those big reels with anything other than a casting cannon. One thing you can do, you can put the casting cannon under the rod or to the side of the rod, depending on your style. For the money, I think the cheapest I can get them. Be very careful when buying a breakaway casting cannon. They range from £7.99 to £50, depending on where you get them from. You can get them for £7.99. For £7.99, I think that's worth a try. If you're unsure if you like it or not, just put it on with tie wraps. Put a tie wrap on each end, cut the tie wraps down nice and flush, maybe even sandpaper so you don't catch and cut yourself, because once your hands are cold and wet they cut easy, don't they? And a sticky out jagged tie wrap bit will cut you. Put them on with a tie wrap before you put them on permanently. When I say permanently, they're semi-permanent. If you've never tried a casting cannon before and you've got braid on a fixed spool, give it a go. It is so intuitive, it's exactly the same. Where you would usually collect the line and open the baler, you wrap around the casting cannon and hold the trigger and open the baler. When you cast, you would normally release the line. With a casting cannon, you release the trigger. It's exactly the same. It doesn't feel any different. But there's no contact between the tension in the line, the braid, your wet fingers, sticky baity fingers, and all of that tension that you've put in to getting that lead out as far as you can. If you're fishing heavy with braid, casting cannon. Personal choice. Would I recommend a casting cannon? Definitely. Definitely. For all those reasons I've just explained. So Scotland Mushroom Foraging, he uses £40 brain with £50 shock leader. So are you only using a 4 ounce weight? And I asked that, and that isn't a loaded question. I'm not trying to be antagonistic for that, but I go by the firm mantra that it's £10 of shock leader per 1 ounce of weight plus £10 of shock leader. So if you're going to cast a 6 ounce weight, you need £70 shock leader. If you're casting the maximum 4 ounce weight, you can go with £50 shock leader. Or you're in danger of it parting. And that depends on whether you've got people close to you and whether you're swinging it around and doing your fancy casting, or if it's just a straight overhead thump, in which case no one else gets it, do they? I'm curious because I'd like to know. I've always gone by the mantra of £10 per ounce plus £10. Right, yeah, Stephen Huffy, you're more than welcome. It's just my view, buddy. Take it with a pinch of salt. What time of year do you think is the best time for not catching crabs? Part of the benefit of being able to catch crabs at the moment is the joy of going down with your little crab net or your little crab bag with some bacon in it, dropping it in the water, catching 20 of any kind crab, putting them on dirty great big hooks and going fishing for the hounds, because that is the cheapest, easiest bait you're ever going to get. It's no digging, there's no lifting rocks, there's no going into the shop and parting with your hard-earned cash. It's to pinch a couple of slices of bacon out of the fridge, stick it in you, catch the crabs, put the dirty great big hooks on, flick them out, and a £6 to £10 smooth hound will give you the fight that will put a grin on your face. They're amazing creatures. But when's the best? As soon as the frost starts, as soon as the cold weather comes in, they all scurry off. Shallow water gets colder in the winter and deeper water is more constant. I've got a firm idea that the crabs just go to a depth of water that they're comfortable at, where they're not going to get too cold. Thanks for the tip. Definitely going to try running ledger. Okay, yeah, give it a go. Give it a go. Seriously, the people that comment in these videos are far more knowledgeable with specific knowledge. You know, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. The people that comment on there that really specialised and they can help you out loads. What happened to the mackerel this year? Right. So I think if you watch the cycle of what happens, as the water temperatures increase, the temperatures come up, the sand eel come in their shoals and they move more, or I don't know if they're migrating, breeding, doing what, and the mackerel follow. The mackerel follow predominantly the sand eel, which is why feathers work so well. That's what they're chasing, that's what they're eating, bait fish or sand eel, or both. They're not fussy, they'll eat the lot. And the mackerel shoals follow them in. But this year, the weather's been a lot different. It's been a lot more overcast. We've recently had more rain, and the weed has been really persistent. And the weed, for the mackerel to come in close to the shore, with all the weed, it deoxygenates the water, and mackerel are very they're not tuna, I understand that, but they're very tuna orientated, aren't they? They're high energy, high exertion fish that are predators and need to eat lots of protein to keep going. They need to eat a lot to keep going. And they just don't like low oxygenated water, and the weed is absolutely killing it. So everything we've discussed about weed, I think personally, it's been very persistent this year, and it hasn't just died away, flushed and gone. It's stuck around. I think that's had an effect. I really do think the weeds had an effect. Don't crabs move on the colder it gets? Right, yeah. I think the crabs move on. I think they go to slightly deeper water. More, I think they come close in to breed. They like the shelter of rocks and shallow water for what's the word, for peeling, for molting, for changing their shell. They do that in the warmer water at the warmer time of year. Hence why that's sort of tapering off now. But yeah, and I think there's always going to be a shoreline population of crabs, but I do think that crabs move fairly en masse. So the hardcore fisherman has been down to the River Humber and has found a barrel full of beer. Are you sure that's beer in there? I don't. Where's that? Is that? It's not fallen off the back of a lorry. It's fallen off the back of a boat. Had to take it home on his push bike. Couldn't leave it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the winter. I'm always looking forward to the next season. So, I'm looking forward to getting to the rays again. I'm looking forward to the opportunity of cod. I'm really looking forward to this year trying to target some big conger. There may be more than one film on that because I really want to focus on that this year. Yeah, always looking forward, and then already starting to think of what's going to happen in the spring and all those bits and pieces. Talking about tuna, South Coast recently, yeah, they're being seen quite regularly now. So there's constantly on my news feeds and stuff that tuna are being spotted. They're coming in, they're crashing, they're chasing the mackerel. They're here to eat mackerel. They're here to eat other fish, and the restrictions on you can't land one in the UK. You're not allowed to. The only thing that worries me is what's going to happen to our fisheries for Brexit. So our fisheries have been very open to European fishermen, including the trouser leg. And if you don't know where the trouser leg is, you look at the map of the UK and you go down to Cornwall and then the south coast and then Kent and like the backside of the man with the hat on his head. So down where his feet are, Cornwall, you go down that way and that's the trouser leg. It's about 200 odd miles off our coast, but it's our territorial waters. That is the main breeding grounds for a lot of the larger species of fish, and that is, for whatever reason, it holds a lot of fish. And the French and the Dutch and all that kind of stuff, they hit it hard. It's nowhere near their countries, it's not their territorial waters, but they've got European fishing rights. So the North Sea, we know at one point was almost sterile, there wasn't much left in it. The Irish Sea has been protected by the Irish Fishery Protection guys and their navy. We've got to look after our own stuff, and we've got to be cruel to be kind. I personally believe we have to restrict, leave areas to recover. I was talking to my buddy Colin about this the other day. Southampton and Portsmouth has been completely dug out of ragworm. There is not an area along there that's worth digging on a semi-commercial or for any kind of volume. It has been dug to death. There's nothing left there. And while no one can dig any of it, I think 2, 3, 4, 5 mile stretches should be put completely out of bounds to recover. But not permanently. Let them recover for 2 or 3 years and then move the recovery area and move the recovery. So give these things a chance. If you take everything, there will be nothing. To the point where the stocks deplete to a point and then they just dive off a cliff and it's gone. Bit of a rant, I know, but it seems like such common sense to me. But as soon as you put the cash register, like the pound signs in, all reason goes out. All sense of reason disappears. Okay, so Billy Fishing has a 525 with £40 4 strand. I was using Barclay 8 strand, it was quite good actually, but £40  4 strand. And is that a right? So Billy, can you just give us a bit more information? That £120 leader, is that a braid £120 leader that you're talking about there? So you're going braid to braid, and you're using braid as a leader. A little bit more information, because I'm curious about that, because I've got my own questions about that. Rick Turan, becoming a bit of a joke. Yeah, Cornish waters, Cornish waters. See, Cornwall wants independence now, do they? Come on, fellas, be reasonable. Be reasonable. Um, it gets too political, doesn't it? I'm saying that almost as a little throw a little hook out. Are Cornish English, or are they Irish, or are they Welsh? I don't know, because yeah, these questions are to be asked. Tuna have always been in the North Sea, and they used to catch huge ones off Whitby and Scarborough in the 40s. My granddad could tell stories of the fish at East Court and Southampton Water. He used to see dolphin. We're starting to see seals now. So, apart from the fact that they eat a lot of fish, it's nice to see seals, because if there wasn't something there, the seals couldn't survive. And I never used to see seals when I was a kid, but there's seals there now in Southampton Water. So that's even that is a little bit controversial, because some people say, well, we don't want those, they eat the fish. You know, it's balance, isn't it? Everything is balance, I think. Fish locker videos. He hooks tuna from his boat off Cornwall. He catches two. He catches two 500-pound tuna, neither of which are landed. Both are swam and released back. And if you look at his kit, he was fishing for them. No, he wasn't. He was fishing for blue shark. Fishing for blue shark, caught some tuna. Amazing fishing. You actually see the power of those fish pulling the boat. You can see his boat swinging on the anchor, and he's got proper stand-up fighting gear. So he's not in a chair, he's not strapped in, he's got a back harness, he's got a proper, I don't know what class rod it is, and he's got a big old winch of a reel. Blue shark fishing gear, and he's hooked into tuna. And other boats have come in to speak to him while he's doing it. It's a good film to watch, actually. In fact, I won't lie, I actually watched a little bit of it earlier this evening. It's got something like 300 and something odd thousand views. You're not going to get 300,000, 315,000 views. You won't get 315,000 views unless it's worth watching. It's a cracking film. Yeah, good film that is. Am I a Brexiteer? Good question. Bit political, not fishing. Am I a Brexiteer? I'm pausing because I like Europe. I like the idea of Europe. I like what Europe stood for. I don't like the fact that Germany pushes so hard to monetize and control Europe as a whole. It's their third attempt at domination. That sounds strong, doesn't it? But look at it. That is what they're doing. They're controlling the banking system. They're controlling the laws that are being made. And they've made some decisions that have put some European countries on their knees. Literally on their knees. But am I a Brexiteer? I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. I don't think they've given us any choice. Is possibly my viewpoint. I'm a reluctant Brexiteer. Is there such a thing? So I'm reluctant to leave, but you forced my hand. So my point of view is, yeah, okay. If that's the way you're going to treat us, if that's the way you're going to interact, then we'll go, because you've given us no other choice. That's my personal view. That's getting a little bit political, isn't it, really? Because I've tried to steer clear of that kind of stuff. I'm a reluctant Brexiteer. Have I ever fished in Cumbria? No, I haven't. I haven't fished Cumbria. And my perception of Cumbrian fishing or Cumbrian coastline will be snaggy, rocky, but very productive. Is that a fair comment? I'd like to give it a go. I'd like to come that way. If I'm willing to travel 10 hours up to Oban, I'm quite happy to go to Cumbria. Billy Fishing said yes. I'm not sure what the question was. Will Billy Fishing? Oh right, yeah. So Billy Fishing is saying yeah, he's a Brexiteer. So that question wasn't even aimed at me. I misread that one, didn't I? Tuna on the south. He caught them down Cornwall way. They have more show, but they have been seen crashing and pushing around off Chesil, which is straight out into Atlantic deep water, really, isn't it? Love Europe. It's the EU that's a problem. I think that's a fair comment. Come on, Donald Trump. He will save us. Seriously, can you? Someone with that hair and that tan, that fake tan. The last time he had it done, you could see he had like panda eyes. So when they said they put him in the booth with his little paper G-string on, and they were stood there with the spray gun to spray him down, he clenched his eyes a little bit too tight when they sprayed his face, and then when he opened them, he had big white circles and his flippy floppy hair. Donald Trump, what a guy. He's amazing, but he's rich. He's rich, filthy rich. I'm not going to get into political discussions about Europe. I'm going to steer clear of that. Let's have a drink. I think we're getting close to the end of it, guys. I think it's about an hour. If you've got any burning questions, seriously, give you 30 seconds to get any specific questions up. Have a drink. Give you a chance to do some typing. His finger's on fire at the moment. What colour ragworm do you use? How pointy are your hooks? How stretchy is your mono? It's all sorts, isn't it? And before you ask, no, I'm on earlies tomorrow. Got to be up at 4. Right. Oh, I can hear Jasper the fishing hound. Oh, here he is. Hello, buddy. Come here. Come here. Hello, mate. You alright? You alright? What have you been doing? Jasper the fishing hound's just made an appearance. Squid for taupe. I thought fresh mackerel. When I say fresh mackerel, I mean literally feather, catch, put it on your hook, get it out there. I thought taupe were big for mackerel. Can we part the... Yeah, definitely. Let's have a look. Squid for taupe. That's the first I've heard squid for taupe. I thought mackerel, to be honest. Hardcore fisherman. He's editing videos. We look forward to watching them. I love watching everyone else's stuff. Do you know the hardest thing of watching other people's videos, seriously, is not to accidentally copy. And I say that really, really hand on heart now. When you watch something, when you see something, you inadvertently, you pick up what someone else has said, you act, you copy their mannerisms, especially if you like it. If it's fresh in your mind and you've seen someone do something, it's really, you have to make it. I've had to edit stuff out where I've said something and I thought, I've watched that on another video. That's someone else's, I've heard someone else say that, or do that, or explain that. I've got to do it differently, and I've had to edit it out and get rid of it. It's but I like watching other people's stuff. I like watching Troy. I like what was I watching? Oh, the prawn pot. Prawn pots. Troy. So sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm getting excited. Troy's fishing. If you haven't seen any of Troy's stuff recently, the last few days, Troy's done one recently with prawn pots. And I don't want to give too much away, but there wasn't prawns in it. There's great big lobsters. Like all that hard work making prawn pots and the other one, seriously. And if you're still on Troy, you have my 100% support in this. People taking from his pots. So someone has actually gone into his pots or lifted his pots and taken. This is the guy's livelihood. This is his living, and there's people stealing out of his pots. That blows me away. I wish I could throw a spear or something for you, mate. I don't know. Do something. Would a man from Southampton be interested in catching a fish in Cornwall? Patronising, isn't it? Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I just can't fit it in. Give me a mark, and I'll be there. If you tell me that you're going to be there on a Friday at 8 o'clock, high tide's at 10, go here, this stuff, this bait, I'll meet you there. Otherwise, I've got to do, and the same as everyone else, I've got to do all that research. Got to do all that research. Got to look at what people caught in the past, what's possible to catch down there, what rigs are popular, what this, what that, what time of the tides do you fish it up, do you fish it down, do you fish up and down, do you only fish at night? I know we all do that, but I haven't got enough hours in the day. I seriously haven't got enough hours in the day. Behind every video you see, there's so much prep. So much prep. Bait, rigs, tackle, loading up. There's always a lot of travelling involved. We travelled, where did we go last night? Swanage last night. Hour and a half drive back. You know, quite a long walk to get to the venue. That's not the smallest violin playing in the background. That's the reality of it. I just run out of time. I really struggle for time. But I'd love to fish Cornwall. We've got friends that live in Truro. I've got a base that I can sort of jump from Truro if that helps. But yeah, we're going to go down that way. I just lost my train of thought. How's the weather here, Troy? Mate, seriously, I can't even describe the weather. So we had that long period of dry, and I mean proper dry. We had no rain. It's blowing a hoolie outside. It's raining. It's supposed to be the summer. It's more like October with slightly warm temperatures. Mally, yeah, take care, buddy. I won't hold you up. You get yourself away. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time and appreciate your support. Peeler crab, thornbacks, squid for taupe. Okay, where is that, John? What area is that? Because I'm always curious. You know, I'm a sponge. I like to learn from you guys. Yeah, someone else has watched John today doing his giant tuna catch. That was amazing. Both fish, yeah. Against fisherman's law to pinch pot. They didn't pinch his pot. They pinched out of his pot. So his pot was still there, but they'd been in it and taken the stuff out of it. That's not right, is it? What's my favourite bait? Squid, I suppose. I think squid will pretty much catch anything. Small strips for small fish, whole squid. There's very little that will turn its nose up at a squid. I genuinely prefer to match the bait, match the hatch, match the bait to the fish. South coast, if I could only have one bait, it would be good ragworm, good quality ragworm, big and plenty of it. You can't just put one worm on a hook. If you want a decent fish, you've got to put 6, 7, 8 ragworm on a decent sized hook. If I could only have one bait near where I live, it'd be ragworm. If I could only choose one bait to do the larger species, it'd be squid. Yeah, totally agree, Troy. Seriously, I couldn't have put that any way better myself. I can't believe in this day and age. Seriously, people taking. We've got problems near where I live. We've got some vandalism problems local to me and stuff like that. It's a different attitude from people nowadays. Everyone's out for themselves. When I say everyone, I'm not tarring everyone with that brush. There are a portion of society that are out for themselves. Mouth of the Mersey, Irish Sea. I've got some news for you and me. I am going to be fishing the cod boat competition in November. Team of 3. I'm fishing with 2 of the guys that won it last year, and they've agreed for me to come along. I don't think that's a good choice. So they won it last year, and now they're going to drag me along. I'm fishing the Mersey boat cod competition in November. That will make an interesting film. Hope you still have some pots left after this weather. I do too, buddy, because I know that costs you money, time and money, and that's important. It's not important, it's not the driver for life, but it's not good if you're just going to lose stuff, is it? Yeah, definitely. Favoured bait is what the fish are eating. Match the hatch. It's the common phrase, isn't it? Um, chop their hands. I knew it would be long before someone mentioned fingers or hands. Chopping hands and fingers off. Yeah, Rick Tarrant, thank you very much for joining me, buddy. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Yeah, and Marcus, I'm going to start wrapping it up. You know, I like to try and keep these things at an hour or just under. We're at an hour and 15 now. So, thank you very much, guys. Clive Painter, what's your favourite rig? Asking for a friend. Right, so if anyone doesn't know, Clive will only fish with an up and over. And he's tainted me. He's persuaded me to think the same thing. So it's Clive's fault that I use the up and over, because that's all he fishes with. He won't fish with anything else. Ask him for a friend. You should have come fishing last night, mate. You could have blanked with us. We didn't blank, we caught, but it wasn't significant. Yeah, Andy Cole, cheers. Thank you very much, buddy. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. So, in the normal way of wrapping things up, I hope you keep well. Hope you keep safe. Tight lines. Happy fishing. It's turned into a bit of a line that now, isn't it? Yeah. Look after yourselves, guys, and I look forward to spending time with you soon. The September competition isn't a declared competition yet. Obviously, we're still in August. I will have a good think about it, and then I will put it to a poll. I like the idea of you choosing your monthly prize. Why put a prize up that you don't want? Why not give you the choice and let you win what you like? So, beginning of September, I'll put a poll up. You can choose what you'd like the chance to win in September, and we'll go from there. We'll do the September competition draw. Yeah, that's it for me. So goodbye, guys. I'll spend time with you again soon. Bye for now.